Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Clair Mellenthin, creator of Attachment Centered Play Therapy. So, this morning we're going to be talking about the Olympics and all the things that we've been seeing, and most importantly, talking to our kids about how do we talk to them about what's happening in the Olympics. We've had some pretty historic moments happen, especially for our female athletes, within the media, within the community. And then we have, our top female athletes, Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka, a few weeks ago, saying that their physical and mental health has to be first and foremost in their lives. And I think that this has really set a precedence um, for not only our athletes but our young kids who are watching this, and being able to talk about putting your own mental health first, I think is something that in our society has been really dismissed. And so when we talk to kids about what's happening, I think it's important that we're framing this in a positive experience and a positive frame. We've had a lot of people, some prominent people in the media, really disparage some of the athletes for speaking out and taking a stand. And that really sends a damaging message to our young kids, especially. So often, you know, elite athletes are taught that their body is a commodity, um, in implicit ways as well as explicit ways. But as a therapist, working for the last 2 decades in the field of mental health, I've worked with a few, former athletes in my time. And once they're out of the competitive world, so often they struggle with mental health, significant mental health issues, as well as a crisis of identity of, I don't know who I am anymore. And I don't know how to be me if I'm not competing. And I think that this is something that's so important, that when, our own kids are actively engaged in competitive sports, that as parents, one of the things that you can do is not only praise them for their accomplishments and their achievements, because they have worked really hard, but if we can start with and work towards praising the things that matter the very most, this is something that will last their whole life. And so once their athletic career is over, they haven't lost sight of who they are, and who that person is matters so much. And so, praising them for working hard, for not giving up, for listening to their body and taking a break when they need it. This is something that we can help parents learn how to do if they're not actively doing it already, as well as instilling in the children that it's so important to be listening to them and their little internal compass, and recognizing how to listen to their body, how to listen to their body cues of, hey, this is too much. I'm not sure what to do in this situation. I feel overwhelmed. Who are my support people that I can go to for help? And what can I do when I'm not sure, I don't feel confident in myself? And I think that as we teach children how to do this, as as many of us know as adults, this is something that we're trying to learn in adulthood, let alone in childhood. How do we help kids learn how to do this? And one of the things that has been so prevalent, and what I've really appreciated, is these star athletes speaking out about how their own mental health has been both challenged, positively through competition, but as well as negatively. And, learning to live with mental health issues, I think, is something that is really challenging as an adult. And so, thinking about how we talk about boundaries, first of all, and setting healthy boundaries. This is something that I think, especially these awesome female athletes, have done has been so powerful and empowering, and not just for them, but I think for women worldwide. And when we're looking at kids and teen athletes, especially, helping them to establish some body autonomy and learning that their body belongs to them is something that is critical. As we've seen this devastating cases of sexual abuse that's taken place, especially with our female gymnasts, but in other sports as well. I think that is something that so often our athletes are taught, that their body doesn't belong to them. Their body should be something, should be high powered all the time, that their body is a commodity. And we know that nothing could be farther from the truth. And when we can help teach our young kids and our athletes right from the beginning that no matter what, their body belongs to them. Nobody should be touching their bodies inappropriately. And helping them understand what inappropriate touch is from a very young age is something that is so very important. We can also help them learn what good touch and bad touch is, right? We know that, and sometimes when you're hurt and injured, no touch is going to feel good. But recognizing the difference between my doctor's here treating my foot versus my doctor's here trying to do something different to my body, those are really distinct differences that all kids should be learning. And understanding what bad touch is and who are safe people to go to. And I think that this has been one of the challenges, that we've seen, especially, in these high profile cases, is because this is where the confusion has been so big for some of the athletes, because the people that they are supposed to trust the most have been the ones that have caused the most harm or didn't help them, in their times of need. There's a story that came out this morning of one of our former Olympic athletes and gymnasts who disclosed that she was, competing with a broken foot, and that her coach and doctor had not been honest about the extent of her injuries. And she felt forced into competing because she didn't know that she had a choice otherwise. She'd never been taught that she had a choice. And I think that this is something, that is so important in teaching kids and our young athletes how to listen to their bodies, and that it's okay to set boundaries around it. I think one of the bravest things that has happened during this Olympics is, Simone Biles stepping back and saying, I'm not in a place physically and mentally to compete right now, and having so much media attention on that. I can't imagine the stress and anxiety that has caused. But in doing this, I think she's also lifted up this whole, not only her teammates, but this whole generation of little girls and boys watching her, and beginning to speak out loud the things that have been unspoken in sports for so long, that it's okay to have stress. It's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to not compete if you are physically not up for it. It's okay to step back and say, I need a break from this, or I'm not going to do media interviews right now, as Naomi did a few weeks ago in tennis. These are brave things that, for too long have gone unchallenged, and we haven't talked about the toll of mental health on our athletes as well as on our little ones watching these athletes. So some of the things that we can do as clinicians, as parents, as coaches, as mentors, is the first and foremost, teach good touch, bad touch, right? Teach body consent. Your body belongs to you. Teach body positivity. Your body is awesome and wonderful just the way that it is. And you're more than what your body can do. You matter. And when we can do these core things and help our little ones, our big and little ones, understand that they're so much more than just the medal that they earn, the goal that they score, the flip that they do, right? There's so much more to who they are than just these outside achievements. What we also teach is lifelong healthy ways of coping, lifelong healthy body positivity, and a lifelong sense of self.